Hi, I'm Simon Horsfield, an RWA coach assessor, and today I'm going to show you how to carry out a minor gel coat repair. Here we have an RS Aero dinghy, and this particular boat has got a problem in and around the daggerboard case. So I'm going to show you how to firstly prepare the surface, then how to repair it, and finally how to sand and polish to a good finish. Let's take a look at preparing the surface firstly. Using a Dremel, remove any damaged gel coat from around repair. Expect the repair to double its initial size as a result of removing the cracked and damaged gel coat. Here you can see how quickly the size of the repair develops. Having removed all the damaged gel coat with the Dremel, what you need to do now is use some rough 80 grit sandpaper just to tidy up all the edges and also to provide a good key for the gel coat to adhere to. Having sanded back the repair, simply clean the surface with a brush, and secondly with some acetone. The acetone will remove all the dust particles and it will also allow the gel coat to adhere better to the hull. So here are some of the things that you're going to need in order to carry out the gel coat repair. So firstly, we've got some acetone so we can clean the surface. We've got some gel coat. This is a standard white gel coat. The RS Aero that I'm doing, while its own RAL number, which is a code that links specifically to the colour of a gel coat, we haven't got any at the moment. It's all about getting the boat on the water. So I'm just going to use some white gel coat. I've got some catalyst to make that go off. A stick and a brush to spread the gel coat onto the boat. A couple of scrapers to help me just if I need them at any point. A mixing bowl, some tape, a mask, some gloves. And over here we've got some wax styrene, and because this is like a second hand, you know, it's been around in the store for a few months and it's winter, I'm going to add some wax styrene to it, and that's going to help it, the gel coat, be more pliable when I put it on the boat. So that's all the bits and pieces you're going to need to carry out a gel coat repair. So using a stick, just get the required amount of gel coat, place it into a pot, and I've put some styrene, wax styrene into this cup. I'm just going to add a few drops to the mix just to help it, as I was saying earlier, just to help it become a little bit more pliable, and I'm just going to mix that in. Okay, what I'm going to do now is add about 2%, very difficult to measure 2%, so just literally a couple of drops in this sort of quantity, but always just read the label. Okay, so a small amount of hardener, and with the stick just give that a really good mix in. With that mix, we're going to now add it onto the boat. So using the stick, simply spread the required amount of gel coat across the repair, trying to keep it as thin as possible. Secondly, if you use a brush, it just allows it to spread more easily. Having left the boat for a few hours, I've just come back just to check that the repair is fully dry and this gel coat is rock solid, so I'm really pleased with that. The next thing I'm going to do is just get on to the finishing part, where I'm going to start sanding back the repair. And I've got a series here of bits of sandpaper. I've got a rough general purpose piece just to start off and get rid of some of the rough, really rough parts initially, and then I'm going to gradually start at 180 grit all the way down to 1200 grit, moving from left to right. So lots of different types of sandpaper, getting smoother as you go in order to get the good finish that we're looking for. So just using a sanding block, some rough 100 grit sandpaper, I'm just going to get the high spots off initially, before then moving to wet and dry, where I'm going to add some water with the sandpaper. Now this just saves a little bit of time because this is much rough sandpaper. So I'm going to use normal sandpaper just to get the rough bits off. I'm now going to use some wet and dry. I'm going to start with some 180 grit. The reason we wet it is it stops all the gel coat particles sticking to sandpaper, so you can sort of like rinse it off, and that's why I use wet and dry. It's important to remember that sanding takes quite a considerable amount of time, but time spent here will be rewarded with the quality of finish at the end. So having had to put a second layer of gel coat on because I had a few air bubbles on the first coat, on the second coat what I've done is I've put a little bit of this plastic film on the top, and the benefit of putting this plastic film over the top of gel coat is it just it allows you to smooth it down to the hull, but also it just basically means you have less gel coat to sand off, and gel coat's quite challenging to sand off, so by putting this on just makes it a little bit easier, and it comes off super easy, and beneath you find yourself with a much smoother finish to start your sanding. To finish off repair, I'm now just using some 1000 grit sandpaper just to ensure the repair is super smooth, both on repair and adjacent to it, so it will blend in smoothly with the rest of the hull. Having sanded repair, I now need to just finish it off by polishing it up, because once you're sanding it makes the gel coat go very dull, so we just need to bring some life back into it and that shine that we all are familiar with when we look at a glass fibre boat. So here today I'm going to use some Facila G3 paste, which you can get from most chandleries. I've got a mop which I'm going to apply the Facila to that and then buff it on. You can do this by hand, it's just a little bit quicker if you've got a mop like we've got here. To apply the Facila to the hull, use a paintbrush. This is much quicker than trying to use a rag, and also you get an even coat of polish. Using a damp mop, set on a low speed, run the mop across the top of the polish and avoid stopping in one location, as this would overheat the polish, so just keep moving it from side to side. With a further layer of Facila added and using a wool polishing bonnet, polish the surface until it's blended in with the rest of the hull. And that's the end of the repair. Really pleased with how it's gone. And as I said at the beginning, we weren't using the original RS gel coat, so we were never going to get a perfect match. But this repair was all about getting the boat repaired, watertight, and back into the training fleet.